Namaskar. I am Biswajit Banerjee, and it's a real privilege to be sharing information with you in this training video as your trainer. We have already covered essentials of individual household toilets and community toilets in our earlier videos. You can always check up with those videos in the link given on your screen. In this video, we will talk about public toilets and discuss why are public toilets important, where should these be constructed, technical details and financial provisions for public toilets, and most importantly, operations and management of public toilets with success stories. Let us first understand what is a public toilet and how is it different from community toilets. Public toilets are for floating populations, usually located near railway stations, bus stands, marketplaces, hospitals, religious centers, etc. The public toilets face greater demand for urinals than community toilets. Further, the public toilets near railway stations are used during all hours. Those near the marketplaces are used mostly during working hours of those markets. Public toilets serve the needs of whoever happens to be passing by, whether a local or a stranger, and hence is called a public toilet. A community toilet, on the other hand, is a toilet that is used by members of a community that reside in the vicinity of the toilet blocks. Public toilets are typically found in very poor conditions. They are not clean, are in a state of disrepair, and feel unsafe. Hence, people would rather use open spaces instead of such public toilets. Now, let us discuss various determinants for achieving clean and usable public toilets. First component is appropriate site selection. The site chosen for locating the public toilets should be where there is high footfall of citizens and one which is easily accessible by users. Ideally, public toilet sites should be marked out during spatial planning of cities. Since this has not been done, specific sites should be identified by urban local bodies. All the prominent places within the city attracting floating population should be covered. While planning construction of a public toilet, first preference should be given to the places which are crowded, like markets, tourist destinations, railway stations, bus depots, and other places which have high public presence. Cities should also plan to provide mobile toilets near weekly or seasonal markets or haats or during festivals. Next component is ensuring the number of seats required. Similar to community toilets, each toilet should normally include separate toilet blocks for men and women with seats for differently abled and aged, hand washing stations in men and women's blocks, urinals in men's blocks, waiting or circulation area, water storage facility, storeroom for storing cleaning equipments. In public toilets, usually there is a greater demand for urinals. The estimation of number of seats should be done after assessing the number of people visiting the area and understanding the peak hours. The operating hours for public toilets also need attention. For instance, public toilets near railway or bus stations are used during all hours, while those near marketplaces are used mostly during working hours of those markets. All the public toilets constructed should have adequate water supply arrangements. This could be through an overhead tank located on the top of the public toilet block. If municipal water supply is not available, a toilet block can have its own borewell and pump. The design of the toilet block must ensure adequate light and ventilation. The public toilets in the city should have a distinct identity, making them easy to locate. The city should also erect wayfinding signage before 30 meters of the toilet on all approach roads. This would help users to locate the toilet easily. Now let us discuss the financing of public toilets. Under the Swachh Bharat mission, there is no central government incentive support for the construction of public toilets. The states and urban local bodies should identify suitable land and could leverage this land and advertisements to encourage the private sector to construct and manage public toilets through a PPP agreement. We have to use innovative means for the capital and operating expenses of public toilets. ULBs could approach all major corporates having their offices or factories in and around the city for capital contribution towards creating public toilets. Many international voluntary agencies also support sanitation and water supply projects. ULBs could reach out to them for capital contribution and technical support. The ULB could also explore providing space for billboard advertisements that could generate funds. The operations and maintenance expenses of public toilets could also be met out by levying user charges. The user charge should not be too high so as to discourage potential users from using the facility. Cities could also provide gap funding where user charges or advertising charges alone might not sustain the running of the toilet. While designing PPP models, cities could also arrive at an optimum bundling of contracts to ensure economic viability as well as to prepare a strategy to cross-subsidize the toilets based on location. Cities could choose the functional modalities that best serve the requirement. Some PPP models charge for use of urinals while some do not. But the most important aspect is that a clean toilet is ensured for the user. Thus, the maintenance of public toilets becomes the biggest concern after its construction. All public toilets constructed under SBM must have a minimum of 5 years maintenance contract. Most of the public toilets are built near markets and busy public places. Standard operating procedures for operation and maintenance of public toilets that also include cleanliness benchmarks should be prepared and included in contracts and shared with all stakeholders. Such cleanliness benchmarks should also be placed in the public domain so that users are also made aware on levels of cleanliness that they should expect. Cities should prepare a monitoring plan and assign responsibilities to zonal and ward staff. With an efficient citizens' complaint system, the feedback from citizens should also be considered as a monitoring tool and could be linked to payment of contractors. Details like toilet cleaning schedules, cleanliness standards, user charges, maintenance of register of users, provision of internal monitoring should be included in the contract agreement. Strict penalty clauses on violation of agreement should be laid down. This is a fine example of a clean and sanitized public toilet, which is running successfully on PPP model. Users pay for the use of the toilets, but use of urinals is free. The entrance to the facility is common and then bifurcates into segments for men and women. There is a ramp on the entrance of the facility and a railing for the differently abled people. Proper care is given in choosing the design of the structure. It gives users full privacy and there are adequate facilities. Wash basins have been provided and there is a liquid soap for hand wash. There are paper towels as well. We have now reached the final part of this training video. No credits for guessing that it's time for the quiz. Are you ready for the challenge? Okay, let's go. Here's the first question for you. Public toilets could be run through option A, government initiatives, option B, private initiatives, option C, public-private partnerships, option D, all of the above. What did you just say? Did you say D? Well, that's the correct answer. Time for the second question, and here it is. Public toilets are usually meant for A, communities, B, factory workers, C, floating populations, D, none of the above. I heard you say C. Oh yes, that is the right answer. Floating populations happens to be the right answer. Let's now move on to the next question. The third question to be precise. It's right here on your screen. The public toilets are to be maintained A, casually, B, professionally, C, semi-professionally, and D, none of the above. You said B, professionally, didn't you? Indeed, that is the correct answer. And we have to understand this and impress upon our minds repeatedly that it is really important to professionally maintain these toilets. Right now, we are moving to the next question, the fourth question that is. And the fourth question is right here on your screen. The public toilets, A, must have facilities for the differently abled people. B, need not have facilities for the differently abled people. C, only sometimes have facilities for the differently abled people. And D, none of the above. I couldn't hear you. What did you just say? You said A. Well, that's right. That is indeed the correct answer. The public toilets must have facilities for the differently abled people. Well, friends, that brings us to the end of this training video on public toilets. I believe you have picked up essential bits of knowledge that you would be putting to good use. For more information, please visit the website www.nbccindia.gov.in. I shall catch you again in the next video. Till that time, goodbye and take very good care of yourselves.